What hitting a dog, K-pop tickets, and birth taught me about emotional overwhelm. Sometimes the most important thing in a whole day is the rest we take between two deep breaths. Eddie Hilsum. I didn't know how I felt. That's how the day started and how it ended. Just a low hum of nervous energy beneath everything. This particular day, a series of events that maybe all felt unrelated had a through line of nervous energy. My sister-in-law was on the cusp of giving birth to a baby boy. Concert tickets for my K-pop bias Kai were to go on sale the next day. And I hit a dog for the first time in my life while heading to the hospital. Whew. When I recanted details of this day and tried to organize my feelings, I couldn't even tell how I was feeling. I have the tendency to detach or dissociate to some degree when overwhelmed. And in this moment, when I was playing House Flipper on Twitch, my stomach was upset and my mind felt chaotic, on the brink of shutting down. My chat asked if I was excited, and I wasn't. I hadn't felt any markers that were clearly indicative of excitement, even with an impending birth. I was a labor and delivery nurse for years, so the impending birth of my nephew brought forth more feelings of nervousness or anxiousness than anything else. You see, I know all the things that can go wrong in labor, so anytime a woman enters the threshold of labor and delivery unit, I enter the threshold of anxious feelings. Not to mention, my sister-in-law gave birth at my old job. So walking into the unit and smelling the familiar smells, riding those same elevators and walking those same halls definitely evoked my expertise, even when I was determined not to embody that in the moment. Don't get me wrong, I loved my job. I had a sense of purpose and I actually saved lives in those days, but I was teleported to a mental amalgamation of life and death moments and situations that I could have lived without. I trusted her team, I trusted her support system, and so I didn't feel like my anxious energy was the best thing for her and her needs. Holding all that knowledge of all the things that can go wrong is sacred. It's mine to hold, not to project onto people whom it would overwhelm and drown. It's a privilege and a curse, and I try to hold it with respect and dignity. So I waited like everyone else to welcome new life and new potential. But I still wonder if it's possible to clock out spiritually from roles that once gave us so much meaning. To add to that, on the way to the hospital, a random dog ran full speed into the side of my car. I was going over a blind hill, and when I got over it, the dog appeared out of nowhere, and it just ran into the side of my car. I couldn't brake or swerve because traffic was tight and moving fast, and the blind hill made it dangerous to pull over right there. And I didn't want to hurt myself or others at the moment, and the hospital was the next light, so I just continued to the hospital and did all the necessary steps once I was safely in the parking lot. It was shocking to say the least, and though I did do my due diligence and couldn't avoid it, it still felt bad in the immediate moments after. I also wonder what someone who saw me keep going might think, and I suppose they wouldn't be wrong to assume since that's human nature, yet the fear of being misinterpreted is something I often wrestle with. So the feeling of unease enveloped me, and on the way to anticipate life and ending one in the same day, it threw me into a weird space. If you saw me in just that moment, would you think I was careless, cold, selfish? These are things I can't control, but I kind of think about. And lastly, my favorite K-pop artist, Kai from EXO, is doing his very first North American tour. It's a huge deal because most soloists never tour the USA. These are seasoned K-pop idols, big deals in their country. So when I heard this, I knew I had to go, and there was no doubt in my mind. I missed signing up for the pre-sale, and the venue isn't the biggest, so I was super worried I wouldn't get the tickets I wanted, so I was a little nervous about it all day. The nervousness of missing a chance that I wasn't sure would come around again was definitely cycling in the back of my mind on and off through the day. How do you handle the fear of missing out? In the evening, when I finally got on Twitch and cut on House Flipper, I knew I needed to decompress. When I feel chaotic and nervous, something about the quiet focus of flipping a virtual house just feels right. The game's pretty straightforward, and oftentimes I pick a music playlist and just vibe out and flip the house. I think it was symbolic how this particular condo was really great. I actually was blown away by it. I loved it as it was. I loved how each room had a color, and it was cool to be immersed in this other world. The cyberpunk Tokyo-inspired condo was much like my feelings. They felt legit, nothing I needed to really fix or apologize for. They just needed to exist and have their space as they are, each one their own color or frequency. Just like the condo didn't need a total redesign, neither did my emotions. They made sense for the day I had. So, what does flipping my emotional house look like? Well, the first thing I usually do is survey what I'm working with. And when I sat down for this session, I did. I talked out loud about the events and tried to pinpoint my feelings. The chat was helpful with asking some clarifying questions, so I'm grateful for that. Once I decided I was nervous, I moved on to the next step, deciding the decorative style. Much like the style of this condo was perfect as it was, this day, my emotions felt perfectly fine for the situations I faced. So ultimately, I decided I didn't need to do any huge work to see it in a different way. It's funny how this condo was the same as my emotions this day, but maybe that's why I chose it subconsciously. Next, I decided what needed to be done. If the condo didn't need a complete overhaul, what did it need? The condo lacked storage for its various books and odds and ends, so I put some shelves in, cleaned up, and added decorative touches to make the condo more cohesive and transitory in the different areas. I think my feelings that day were like that. They were all tangled together like these random cords in this cyberpunk condo. Things that just had to be waited out. Maybe they just had to be shelved until they could be resolved. So I went through each emotion and considered the why of its existence. Since they all seemed valid, I put it on a shelf neatly. So then, what are the decorative touches? Though I'm still not completely sure, maybe it's reassuring myself, telling myself this nervousness is normal. Tomorrow you'll have all your answers, and so no need to ruminate today. Today your sister-in-law is fine. Today you did your due diligence with the dog while ensuring your own safety, and if the tickets to Kai are sold out, it wasn't meant to be. So I would call that grace, giving myself grace for this day, for the things that can't be helped, and the time that has to have its passing. To be honest, I don't have a neat conclusion to this day, and maybe that's okay. Some days don't resolve, they just ask to be lived. Maybe nervous energy is what happens when your soul senses is standing on the threshold, but doesn't know what's on the other side. As for everything I was anxious about, my sister-in-law, the baby, the dog, the concert tickets, it all resolved the next day. It reminds me of flipping a house. There's always that moment in the middle where I pause and I wonder, am I really pulling this off? But eventually it does come together, and I start to trust my design instincts. Maybe that's how you build emotional confidence too. Not by solving everything in the moment, but by showing up, taking things shelf by shelf, and learning to trust the process. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like these, reflective journals over gameplay, make sure you like and subscribe. Stay tuned because there will definitely be more videos coming. Thanks for watching. Bye.